Welcome to the Heart of the Equation, where analytical minds explore leadership, professional growth, and the human side of success.
This is the space for business professionals in the STEM field to reflect, grow, and redefine success on their terms.
Together, we'll dive into challenges, transformations, and stories that can help you build an authentic, purpose-driven career.
Let's get this started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Heart of Equation. In this episode, you have Anisa and I will be interviewing Anisa, asking some questions about her job as an engineer, as an artist, as a best-selling author. So I hope you enjoy this. So, Anisa, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we all introduced ourselves in the previous episode. So, what do you do, who you are?
Thank you for having me. So who's Anisa? I believe that we are much more than one thing. So let me start with one of the things that I do and I enjoy, and I think it's kind of my passion as well. When I was a little girl, maybe I was 5 and 6, I was so inspired by Marie Curie, the French lady, right? One of the biggest scientists, French scientists that has changed basically the vision and the story. So I was so inspired by this amazing lady that I kind of knew that I want to pursue, let's say, kind of her journey and become a scientist. So when I was around 15, 16, I was sure that I want to study and learn chemistry, right?
Yeah.
And with 17, I have decided to study chemical engineering. So I'm a chemical engineering by background that I have done with really love. So that decision was out of pure love. Um, and each lesson of chemistry, it was lesson of life for me. I have done and I have studied with so much passion that even talking with you, I can just have the emotion, right, that I went through in university. So I was studied the chemistry in Italy. So I moved from Iran when I was around 17, and I went to university in Italy in Torino as a chemical engineer, and I have done my master as well in chemical engineering. And then later I have pursued my master in project management, and I was again passionate about putting the things together, see how the task can come together, and then how we can get the result, right? And as you know me, I liked soft skills, and I'm a people person, I say always. And big part of being a project management is to bring in people together, ensure that, everyone is working in harmony to have a good result. So I pursue another passion that I have as a project manager. I'm working from maybe people that are hearing us from Instagram and Facebook, they don't know, but I'm working in pharma industry since 2011. It's around 14 years that I'm working as an engineer, as a project engineer and project manager, actually. So that is one part, Sarah.
Yeah, it's so interesting what you just shared, actually, because we know each other very well. Interviewing people I know very well is always a little weird, I have to confess. But it was so interesting to hear that you loved chemical engineering, you loved project management, and I know so many people online because you have a good following. You have a few thousand people following you on Instagram and LinkedIn everywhere on your art account, on your meditation account. So most people actually don't know that you actually have a job. You're a project manager, you're an engineer. They know you as the artist, they know you as the meditation teacher, they know you have as the author. So it was so interesting to hear that you actually enjoy the other part of your life too. And that's part
Absolutely. And
of,
it is 100%.
yeah,
So I'm working 100% actually. And I think it's kind of to connect with people that you are working with,
Yeah.
see them as a people, and bring that mindfulness kind of to serve them and be conscious that there are also people
Yeah.
that might have a struggling part, that might have a stress, and then bring that mindfulness and meditation, as you said, maybe not directly with those words, but that klima into the work, right?
Yeah.
And then see the things are working that make me really enjoy everything, right? From one side, see, of course, that process and projects are working. And then from the other side, enjoying that really human connection, because if there is no real human connections, you cannot really advance in the projects and process that you have, right?
Yeah, we love to talk about the human side of success and human side of business and career and everything on this podcast, of course. So something I thought would be, of course, you're gonna get more into what you do and everything you have you're bringing to people. But really, the topic we'd like to get deeper into is the mindfulness and how to thrive in stressful jobs. Because some jobs maybe they're a little, I don't know, the environment has less triggers, but there are jobs that you're constantly being given a lot of tasks. I think it's also fast-paced. There are so many fast-paced industries. If you work in logistics and plants, I think most of the jobs right now, it's so much you're being bombarded with assignments, with information, with things to do. So it would be good if we could talk about that because you're an expert in it and you have such calm energy. So how do we start? How to bring more mindfulness and peace into this kind of jobs so we can survive and also thrive?
That's a very good question. Um, so it is a journey, right? It is
Mm,
a long journey, kind of, and it starts with us.
yeah,
And the very beginning point is a consciousness to say, I would like to start with myself and make myself a better version, a version that I'm happier with myself, of course, right?
mm,
And develop that consciousness. You can call it mindfulness, you can call it consciousness. So it's a journey that starts with every individual, right? And you can imagine if every individual has that consciousness and then we come to the meeting, it's going to be, the communication is going to be easier. We know really how to communicate, right?
mm,
Um, and then we can avoid so many challenges and struggling, right? So by starting that journey, of course, you start to learn methods and develop basically that awareness of the moment.
mm,
Then you know, okay, I'm in this moment. Now I'm able, and I remind myself to check in more, for example. And if a stressing situation is coming, because we cannot eliminate most of the time, right, the external situation that we have. So instead of being a victim of that situation, if we have that awareness, we can get a step back,
yeah,
right? And once we get at a step back, we can see clearly the situation, and we give ourselves also a moment to calm down, right?
yeah,
Just our body, and that in that moment of calm down, check in. You can apply all the methods and techniques that you learned to calm and let your body settle, right? To come that moment of flow and basically set and digest, instead of being, you have heard about it and you talk about it as well, to be that fight and flight, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I would say that is a journey that starts with consciousness.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, we'll get back to this topic again. But before I forget, I also wanted to ask you what made you interested in this topic? Because you have so many certificates and experience in meditation. You have helped thousands of people. I mean, when we met a few years ago, you had already had communities of people. You've helped them with meditation, healing, all of that kind of stuff. So how did it all start for you?
That's a very good question as well. I think it was around 2013. that I
Mm,
start to go through questioning life, right?
yeah,
And searching for happiness. And I was like, okay, where's the happiness? You know, the things are going wrong in my life. The things are just turning as I don't expect, right? So I cannot really get that happiness outside my life. And then I was reading a book saying that happiness is coming inside from inside. I was like, okay, I don't know, let's try that. And one of the things that they were just mentioning was meditation. I was like, okay, you know, I try everything. Let's try this one too. So I start going to the meditation class, and we human, we're not patient, right? We
yeah,
just need quick, basically fix. And I was like, it's not coming, it's not coming. And you know, after a while, I was just noticing that maybe it's not a quick thing that comes in front of you to say, no, it's happiness, I'm happiness. But it's just a change of energy, right? And then I was noticing how events that are happening in my life are different from before, people that I was attracting. Um, and then I could see that, okay, the things are changing, right? New people, new events. So it has started from the pain, right? That journey started, that questioning journey has started with pain. That, again, we were talking about Rumi, right?
yeah,
That where there is pain, that's also a place that light can come out. And then from there I have started. You start one things. I was starting with meditation. I went to France to get my certification for sound meditation. And then after that, I studied with Deepak Chopra in America to get another certification for meditation, that trauma certification, and then, you know, resilience certification. You know that, right? So you go with one and then you see the, you know, the other need. And now I'm doing the somatic certification because I think many things are in body basically, right? And it stays for a while if you do not address it.
yeah, yeah. I love that. I also totally agree that a lot of things are in our body. I think people, especially in the coaching world, they try to solve a lot of problems by just mindset, techniques, and tools, and try this tool and that tool, and they look good on surface level, but in reality, the real stuff is registered in our body, is our nervous system. And also, I was in the beginning about meditation, I would get bored. I would start thinking about like, when is this going to be over? I couldn't even have the patience for 10 minutes. And I couldn't understand it because I'm an intellectual person, and I also think a lot. And this was stopping my thinking. And then so for me, it was also a big question mark that like, oh, does this even work? But then I also see that when you do it on a regular basis, you invite that calm into your life. Your body learns safety. A lot of us have not learned how to be safe, how to feel safe with ourselves, especially, I mean, I also come from Iran. Our childhoods were spent in a very unstable environment that constantly things happen and you never know. And our parents also were never taught to
Right.
find safety inside. Safety was shelter, was home, was the good job, was the money. So we always searched outside, and then at some point you kind of notice that okay, I have it, but I don't feel safe.
Yeah, that's so true. You describe it very well. It is not something that unfortunately is taught, right,
Yeah,
in the school, and it is the most important things to have that with ourselves, right? They are the themes that are so important, like safety that you mentioned, that self-love, that self-respect. And I think that is the podcast that we're gonna talk about all those hidden topics that are not being talked about them
yeah,
a lot, right?
yeah, exactly. So this was the meditation part of your journey, but you also had this extensive journey with art and healing, and somehow it connected with your meditation passion. So that was another thing you follow. So how did it start, your interest in art and
Mhm.
thing?
So it is so interesting. I was in love with Marie Curie, and I knew that I want to be a scientist. And from the other side, I was in love with Van Gogh. So I started to go to the art school when I was maybe 11. Um, so I studied in Iran art for around 5 years. And at a certain point, to be honest, I had a doubt, being a chemical engineer or being an artist. My father said, look, it's easy. If you study chemical engineering, you always can be an artist. You can always paint and go classes, teach, do exhibition. But if you study art, you need to forget chemistry because then, you need to go to university to learn chemistry, basically. So that explanation of my dad kind of, helped me to decide to go to university for chemistry and then learn, with the private classes and then continue art beside that. I think art has been a pivot role in my life, especially when I left Iran and I moved to Italy. So I was alone for a long, long time, alone meaning without family, right? I have an amazing good friends and good community, but those moments of being alone was really filled with the love of painting, right? And then become a meditation teacher, I could realize that what those painting has done to me, it was a therapy and healing for me, right? To bring everything out. And that's why I started to develop intuitive meditative painting. That's a coaching method, right? It hasn't to do anything with technical and techniques in painting, but it has to do really with a deep dive to go inside and take things out that sometimes is not easy with words, right? It's like a little bit of like a somatic method, right? That you go to the body, you discover, and then you come out with something and you express yourself.
Yeah, yeah. But you also, it's not just a hobby for you. You're a professional, established artist. You do exhibition, you have had awards, you've written books, you do serious stuff. You do everything what a full-time artist would do. So how did it become so serious for you? What was the pivotal moment that triggered that?
To be honest, I cannot remember that moment, but it is since years that I could give that a structure to that, and that is thanks to project management,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that consistency and discipline that you need to have in project management. You cannot just leave it there and say, okay, let's see what is next. And then I paint for 5 days, and then let's see if someone comes and buy it. So that discipline of project management taught me basically to plan. And
Yeah.
that planning helped me to do all the things that you can see, right?
Yeah.
It might not take so much time of me because it is planned and it is there, but it can be beneficial, of course, and it can allow me to do that much work. You see the book, for example, you see the arts. It is all really thanks to good project management that I have been learned during my path,
Yeah.
and also enjoying that. I think that enjoying something and be passionate about it, work with good people,
Yeah.
brings you energy. So it doesn't make you tired, it gives you extra energy.
Yeah, yeah. Having observed you for some years, I could see there was a point that you started to go to exhibitions, have like, you always painted, but you have a certain style that you followed, creating collections with that style. So creating professional art that is accepted, because exhibition galleries,
Mhm.
like respectable galleries, they won't just let everyone in. You need to have certain standards. So you really tune into that. And I think you're someone, you set goals, you do something right, and you really follow that, with everything you've done it at high standards, I would say.
That is very interesting what you said. That point was a point that I have separated and divided what was art as a therapy for me
Yeah,
as Anisa, because I do not want to sell those things. They are mine. That's my journey.
yeah,
And creating art for other people.
yeah,
That is a very important point that I see. So what you create for art therapy, it's yours. And what matters is the journey, right?
yeah,
And what you create for other people, you do it with that spirit of detachment for other people and say, okay, what can brings joy to other people home? And then
Yeah.
you create it definitely for them. I think that was a very interesting observation that you had, Sarah.
Hmm. That's interesting what you actually shared because I think it applies to everything. I had a discussion with my clients around, I'm a business coach, I work with clients, and sharing content online or creating a product, anything shared publicly. There are two ways of doing that. Sharing your hot mess, something you have not recovered from, and you don't know what you're doing, you're still healing from it, you're in it. If you share that, it's not going to be a useful product. You might even attract the wrong people. But when you learn lessons from a difficult experience, you're healed, you share the learnings, you share the result of whatever you've been working from, then you see things are working differently. It becomes a business, it brings people in, it's a totally different journey. So it is really like, a product that is ready to serve. It's not just sharing your pain with others.
That is absolutely what you describe. You don't want to share that pain, as you said, as something that it goes to their wall, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
set intention that when I paint for someone, that it brings them joy, it brings them
yeah.
hope, color, and warmth. So it is very, very a point of reflection, right?
Hmm. And then there was this point, I know you were already a best-selling author, you joined a book project and you already had that experience. And then you started this new project. I don't know, I don't want to spoil it because I know you will be launching this on March 8th and something exciting is about to come. But would you like to explain a little bit about this new project you started that is around art and with some artists?
We can spoil it.
Oh, good.
We
Yeah,
can
okay.
spoil it. So as you mentioned, I think it was 2022 that I was honored to be this an amazing project inspired Swiss inspired women. Actually, I was between the 30 women that has been chosen for this book, and we became a bestseller. And then I released my own book. I went through, it's a journey as well, right? Book publishing, it is a huge journey that starts with loads of self-discovery and digging in of my own book, 2023, that is about actually intuitive painting. And then on the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, we have started this project with women artists. So the aim is really to bring highlight how art can change our lives, our own lives, and how it can impact our society. There are the things that you can say with art that you cannot say with words, right? And you do not need to know a language to communicate with art. So it is a powerful tool. So these book projects bring 16 women artists from around the world. We have people from Iran, Pakistan, Macau, America, from France, from Switzerland, of course, from Germany, and much more. Doing painting, photography, jewelry artists, miniatures, and each of these amazing lady talk about their own story, how art could help them in life to bring more resilience, to go through healing, right? Physical healing, mental healing, go through divorce and really again re-shine and come out. So the book is on Amazon and called Arts Without Borders, Impactful Women Artists. So if they search by name, they can find it that it is available so they can get their copy.
Yeah, so exciting. I'm looking forward to it actually. I pre-ordered mine, so
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, that's such a cool story. But going back, so this is another project you do, project management combined with art, combined with everything you know. It's like it's another side hustle you have, but you do it with so much joy, and I'm so amazed how well you do it because I've seen so much of the behind the scenes of this. This is a massive project, it wasn't just people copy pasting their stuff. It was like coaching people, getting those stories out of them, writing this whole books. It was so many people but involved. It was a massive project. So it took a lot of skills, and yeah, you managed that. So yeah, so exciting. That's
Yeah. I think
yeah,
again, that's project management that I really enjoy. It can be whatever. If you
yeah,
enjoy the project management in a real sense, and have an understanding of the basic from really the timeline, from people, from the task distribution, delegation, and trust, right?
yeah,
You need to have trust when you're working with people and just leave and delegate as well.
mm,
So if you have that, you can work in any industry that
yeah,
you're passionate about. Now, I mean, pharma, because I'm passionate about pharma and delivering, of course, medicine, certain medicine with certain ethics, right,
yeah,
to people. But you can be in chocolate industry too. You
yeah,
can be in any industry and make the projects really successful, applying those elements of
yeah.
project management.
It's a brilliant skill. I think everybody needs it. I mean, everyone who runs their business, because this is the skill which will set you apart from a passion project kind of work that is kind of fun, to business, to results, to income, to impact. This is what actually moves the needle. It's a critical skill. I think everybody needs it no matter what they do. But as a project manager, how your knowledge of mindfulness, meditation, nervous system regulation, how has that helped your work?
Um, it comes to again stepping out, I think, in those moments, right? We are human beings, we cannot disconnect totally. And that is also a good sign. That means that our nervous system is working
Mm.
properly. But we can have that reminder of that check-in more with that
Yeah,
practice of mindfulness. It is science-based, right? It is
yeah,
not something that we just, cheat and chat. So this is the science base. Maybe you have seen that I use this example a lot. I really like it, the hand example. So if you
yeah,
just imagine this is the brain, for the people who are listening to us, I'm just showing my hand that it is part of the brain, and then my fingers are the part of cortex, right? And here are our spine is basic here. So when you do mindfulness practice, you change physiologically your brain, that your precortex, where my fingers are, become stronger. And in the moment that you go to fight and flight and your spine start to sending signals, and a normal precortex will react by opening my finger, you with mindfulness practice will have a stronger precortex that might open and then close again. So that brings you more calm. So basically it is you increasing your resilience, that windows of tolerance that we talk about it sometimes
yeah,
in our workshops, right? You are just widening that windows of tolerance. And then once you come out, it's easier to decide. You might even decide, to quit a job. You might decide to do not work with a certain people. You might decide to go to another strategy for negotiation. You might decide to delegate the task. But that moment of just consciousness bring you out, and then you do not react emotionally or do not get a stress, right? Or even you get it at the moment because we are human, right?
yeah,
I might forget it as well. I can come home and then have my practice of, heart practice. You know that I teach heart math
yeah.
method, which is very short, right? With 5 minutes, you can reset your brain and everything. So there are those tools that actually help me to manage to be in a stressful job. They call it a stressful, but also
Yeah.
enjoy that
Yeah.
chaos, right?
Yeah, yes. And this thing they call a stressful jobs, because I worked in logistics and supply chain it was I mean, my jobs were mostly like almost working in emergency room in hospital, but it wasn't a hospital, it was like a
Right.
different business. But then something I also noticed, that they're called the stressful jobs, but it's not the amount of tasks that was making things stressful. I'm okay with doing a lot of things. What made it stressful was the relationships. Some people that it was very difficult to communicate. I think
Right.
it's the major source of a stress for some people, that not everybody, even if you do your work and try to be regulated and calm, there is always someone who isn't. So but what you just described, we cannot wait for the day that our job becomes easy, everybody behaves, everything is perfect, no one gets sick. This is not going to happen. And world is getting also, I think, more uncertain. But we learn to be more resilient, and that will help us move forward with our human bodies and human minds and
That's very true.
everything that comes with it. So such a brilliant skill.
Yeah, you describe it amazingly. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I know we are kind of reaching the the sort of end of time. I wish we could talk forever. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of episodes in future going deeper in all of these topics. Anything you'd like to add or any advice you have for those who are listening to us, all these engineers, scientists, tech people who might also want to change their jobs or careers?
Stay curious,
Yeah.
try things, and stay open. So new opportunities will come when you start to be curious and when you start to learn a new skill, and you can be many things, as many as you want. So do not let that a certain position defines who you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anisa, and everybody who listened to
Thank
us.
you for having me.
Thank you. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Heart of the Equation. If this episode has sparked something for you, we'd love to hear about it.
Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on LinkedIn or Instagram to continue the conversation.
And if you know someone who is navigating their next career step, share this episode with them. It could be exactly what they need.
We see you next time as we explore more about leading with purpose, resilience, and authenticity.
Let's keep growing together.